Today's Talk About It Tuesday question is, can you define net worth? Too many people don't know what it includes. Well, I've used the term net worth in previous videos, and you've probably come across it here and there, but most of us have never really gotten a good understanding of what net worth is and the value of knowing what your net worth is. So most of us have been raised to focus on income, right? And so when people say somebody is wealthy, they assume that wealth is determined by the amount of income somebody gets. But wealth has nothing to do with your income and everything to do with your net worth. So you can be a high income earner, $1 million, right? Income earner, and not be wealthy. And you can be wealthy and be a low income earner. So how do we define wealth? Wealth is defined again by net worth. Net worth is a snapshot of your financial condition. So when we say somebody is a millionaire, they have a net worth of $1 million or more, not income of $1 million or more. So how do we get to this net worth? How do we determine what it is? It is the total asset value that you have minus the total debt amount that you have, right? So when you subtract your debt amount from your asset value, that determines your net worth. So let me give you an example. An asset can be cash, and I'm not talking about your cash flow, right? Cash flow is the income that's used to cover your expenses, your monthly expenses. I'm talking about money in reserve beyond that. So it will be your savings, not your cash flow. So the amount you have in savings, the cash that you have in savings, your portfolio of investments, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, whatever's in your portfolio of investments, the value of that, the value of any real estate that you own, whether it's your personal property or investment property, the value of other personal property that can be sold. So it could be your car, it could be jewelry, it could be a coin collection, all your collectibles. So the total value of all of that stuff could even be a business if you own it, right? The valuation of a business, that would be thrown in there. So all those are assets in your asset column. You add up the total value of all of your assets. Then on the other side, you have all of your liabilities. So what are liabilities? Debts. You have short-term debts like credit card debt, maybe a small personal loan. And you have long-term debts like a car note, a mortgage. And so you have that column, you add up the total amount of the debts that you owe. You subtract that from the assets. So again, if you have, let's say, let's make it easy, $250,000 value in all of the assets you have, but you have a $100,000 mortgage, and you have, $20,000 in credit card, and $10,000 in a personal loan, and $10,000 in a car note. So you have $150,000 worth of debt. You subtract the $150,000 from the $250,000, and your net worth would then be $100,000. So you have a net worth of $100,000. Now, ironically, I say 100,000, the average, and that means everybody from the high net worth people to the lowest net worth people, average net worth in America is about 190,000, 192,000, actually 192,700 to be exact, right? But that varies by age, right? The younger you are, usually you have a lower net worth, and you're older, you accumulate assets, so you have a higher net worth. It varies by gender, it varies by race and ethnicity. It varies by region of the country, geography. So there are a lot of variables that play a role in that. Varies by education. So there are a lot of factors, again, that play into that. So why is it important to know your net worth? You can actually have a negative net worth. There are a lot of people who have negative net worth, meaning they owe more money than the value of anything that they own. That would mean you have a negative net worth. But you always want to have a positive net worth. Can you have neutral? Yeah, I guess it's possible, but highly unlikely. You want a positive net worth. And when we talk about being a millionaire, that means you want $1 million net worth. That means assets minus your liabilities adds up to $1 million. So again, why is this net worth thing important? People talk about intergenerational wealth. You cannot pass on a high income to a next generation. So if I was a 6 or 7 figure income earner, when I die, that income stream stops. I can't pass that on to the next generation. I can only pass on assets, right? And you can pass on liabilities, but I can only pass on my net worth. So when we talk about wealth, wealth is determined by net worth. Intergenerational wealth means you have to have accumulated net worth to be able, or assets to be able to pass on to the next generation. So it's important in that regard, and being able to pass on stuff. It's a good indicator of your financial health, but also it creates a vehicle for you to increase your assets, because you can use that as collateral, right? We call it leveraging, to borrow against, right? Because if you have assets, you can borrow against those assets to acquire more assets. And as long as the assets you acquire on your balance sheet, again, create more value on the asset side than the liability side, and you can keep doing that and doing that and doing that and grow your net worth over and over. So again, just to review, net worth, total value of your assets in one column minus the total value or the total amount of your debts in the other column. That's your net worth. You can set your goals that way. I want a $100,000 net worth by X amount of time. I want $1 million net worth by X amount of time, which allows you to strategize to knock down debt, and that's primary, knock down debt and increase asset value on the other side. It is a way for you to ensure that you can pass on intergenerational wealth, right? So again, assets can be transferred to organizations that you care about. It can be passed on to individuals, even while you're still alive, and to your heirs. So really important to understand net worth. Hopefully that gives you some clarity, and then it'll let you know where you stand currently, allow you to set a goal to where you want to go, and really focus on knocking down the debt and increasing asset value. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, but please like, share, subscribe, comment, but keep the questions coming, and I'll see you next Tuesday.